Colombo, January 1897, Part 2. There was a time when, at the sound of the march of big Greek battalions, the earth trembled, vanished from the face of the earth, with not even a tale left behind to tell. Gone is that ancient land of the Greeks. There was a time when the Roman eagle floated over everything worth having in this world. Everywhere Rome's power was felt and pressed on the head of humanity. The earth trembled at the name of Rome. But the Capitoline Hill is a mass of ruins. The spider web weaves its webs where the Caesars ruled. There have been other nations equally glorious that have come and gone, living a few hours of exultant and exuberant dominance and of a wicked national life and then vanishing like ripples on the face of the waters, thus having these nations made their mark on the face of humanity. But we live. And if Manu came back today, he would not be bewildered and would not find himself in a foreign land. The same laws are here, laws adjusted and thought out through thousands and thousands of years, customs the outcome of the acumen of ages and the experience of centuries that seems to be eternal. And as the days go by, as blow after blow of misfortune has been delivered upon them, such blows seem to have served one purpose only, that of making them stronger and more constant. And to find the center of all this, the heart from which the blood flows, the mainspring of the national life, believe me when I say, after my experience of the world, that it is here. To the other nations of the world, religion is one amongst the many occupations of life. There is politics, there are the enjoyments of social life, there is all that wealth can buy or power can bring, there is all that the senses can enjoy. And among all these various occupations of life and all this searching after something which can give yet a little more vetting to the cloyed senses, among all these there is perhaps a little bit of religion. But here in India, religion is the one and the only occupation of life. How many of you know that there has been a Sino-Japanese war? Very few of you, if any. That there are tremendous political movements and socialistic movements trying to transform Western society. How many of you know? Very few indeed, if any. But that there was a parliament of religions in America and that there was a Hindu sannyasi sent over there, I am astonished to find that even the coolie knows of it. That shows the way the wind blows, where the national life is. I used to read books written by globe-trotting travelers, especially foreigners, who deplored the ignorance of the Eastern masses. But I found out that it was partly true and at the same time partly untrue. If you ask a plowman in England or America or France or Germany to what party he belongs, he can tell you whether he belongs to the radicals or to the conservatives, or for whom he is going to vote. In America, he will say whether he's a Republican or Democrat, and he even knows something about the silver question. But if you ask him about his religion, he will tell you that he goes to church and belongs to a certain denomination. That is all he knows, and he thinks it is sufficient. Now, when we come to India, if you ask one of our plowmen, do you know anything about politics? He will reply, what is that? He does not understand the socialistic movements, the relation between capital and labor and all that. He has never heard of such things in his life. He works hard and earns his bread. But you ask, what is your religion? He replies, look here, my friend, I have marked it on my forehead. He can give you a good hint or two on questions of religion. That has been my experience. That is our nation's life. Individuals have each their own peculiarities, and each man has his own methods of growth, his own life marked out for him by the infinite past life and by his past karma, as we Hindus say. Into this world he comes and all the past on him. The infinite past ushers the present, and the way in which we use the present is going to make the future. Thus, everyone born into this world has a bent, a direction towards which he must go, through which he must live. And what is true of the individual is equally true of the race. Each race, similarly, has a peculiar bent. Each race has a peculiar raison d'être. Each race has a peculiar mission to fulfill in the life of the world. Each race has to make its own results, to fulfill its own mission. Political greatness or military power is never the mission of our race. It never was, and mark my words, it never will be. But there has been the other mission given to us, which is to conserve, to preserve, to accumulate, as it were, into a dynamo, all the spiritual energy of the race. And that concentrated energy is to pour forth in a deluge on the world whenever circumstances are propitious. Let the Persian or the Greek, the Roman, the Arab, or the Englishman march his battalions, conquer the world, and link the different nations together. And the philosophy and spirituality of India is ever ready to flow along the new-made channels into the veins of the nation of the world. The Hindu's calm brain must pour out its own quota to give to the sum total of human progress. India's gift to the world is the light spiritual. Thus, in the past, we read in history that whenever there arose a great conquering nation uniting the different races of the world, binding India with the other races, taking her out, as it were, from her loneliness and from her aloofness from the rest of the world, into which she again and again cast herself, that whenever such a state has been brought about, the result has been the flooding of the world with Indian spiritual ideas. At the beginning of the century, Schopenhauer, the great German philosopher, studying from a not very clear translation of the Vedas, made from an old translation into Persian and thence by a young Frenchman into Latin, says, "In the whole world there is no study so beneficial and so elevating as that of the Upanishads. It has been the solace of my life, it will be the solace of my death." This great German sage foretold that the world is about to see a revolution in thought more extensive and more powerful than that which was witnessed by the Renaissance of Greek literature. And today his predictions are coming to pass. Those who keep their eyes open, those who understand the workings in the mind of different nations of the West, those who are thinkers and study the different nations, will find the immense change that has been produced in the tone, the procedure, in the methods, and in the literature of the world by this slow, never ceasing permeation of Indian thought.